The magic that gathered on Starlight's horn instantly and forcefully disappeared as the stallions shoved the lid off of the second crate. Inside were rather bulky devices, each able to be handled by another stallion. Taking one for each and handing each other small boxes of metal, they loaded them into the devices they held. The machine they unveiled cut off their mana supply to her horn from its energy that it emitted, making her magic useless. The stallions began to fiddle around with the other smaller machines that they took from the second box. Suddenly Starlight Glimmer's face drained of color. She had seen those devices before when she had visited alternate timelines before. They were weapons of terrifying power and unstoppable strength. They called them guns, and she was the only one who knew of the imminent danger she was in. The ponies took something else from the second crate, blank white mask that only had eye holes for any sort of features or breaks in the expressionless cover. The mask were rigid and sturdy with all the more terrifying. What, what do you want? Who are all? Who are you all? The lead pony took out what Starlight recognized as a handgun and pointed it at her head. Starlight backed away slightly as the pony spoke through gritted teeth under his mask. Where is Twilight? He pressed the gun against her temple. Then Princess Twilight Sparkle emerged. Her hair was messy and she seemingly had the energy drained from her after never taking a break from studying. Her vision was a little cloudy as she walked towards the source of the commotion. Starlight, is everything okay? My magic suddenly stopped working and I hear some people out in the front. Her Then her vision cleared and she saw Starlight glimmer, her eyes in a look of pure distress and fright. Looking back at Twilight behind her were roughly 8 or 9 stallions with blank white masks on and holding objects that closely resembled the guns that Starlight had lectured Twilight about after coming back from an alternate timeline. You shut it. You don't make a move unless I say so, or I'll redecorate those walls with brains, the stallion armed with a handgun ordered the princess. Now, let's take a walk into this home of yours. What the? You can't do this. You have. Do you have any idea how much trouble you will? Move it! The pony smashed the pistol against her head, sending a shock of throbbing pain into her temple. A yelp came from her as Starlight struggled behind the grip of another stallion. The two ponies began to walk deeper into the castle under the escort of their new visitors. All the while Spike had heard some commotion at the front but was still busy trying to get the notes that Twilight had taken about his kin. Scampering back to meet Starlight Glimmer, he suddenly heard very masculine and gruff voices coming down the hallway. Let's just keep walking and don't make a sound so no one else gets hurt. You understand, Your Majesty? Twilight gave a light nod as she and her student walked down the hallway. Peering from a corner, it didn't take a genius to realize what kind of situation and danger Spike's two friends were in. Silently tiptoeing away, he grabbed a sheet of paper and a quill and a quill and hid under a table. Spike frantically began to scribble. Help! There are stallions in the castle who are threatening Twilight and Starlight. Please help! It was brief, but it clearly told the message. Spike opened his mouth to send the letter with his fire, but the table was suddenly flipped over onto its back. The baby dragon now found himself peering down the barrel of what obviously was a weapon pointing at his head. The stallion's white mask hid the expression underneath, but the voice, containing the tone of urgency and command, did not. What's that you got there? The stallion wrenched away the letter. He read the note, giving Spike a hollow feeling in his gut as he was now exposed. So, thought you could warn your females, did you? The stallion pushed the barrel to his face. Burn it, now! Spike looked back at the stallion. Burn it? Yes. Now do as I say or you'll be in effing pieces. Quick side note, I did not know that was going to be there. Spike nodded and without hesitation burned the letter, the ashes floating up towards the ceiling. The armed cop then took the dragon by his arm and pulled him away to regroup with his other group members. For the longest of time, Spike had always been bothered by being a dragon and having himself be surrounded by ponies that didn't know much of his own species, let alone himself in that regard. Most ponies always thought that all dragons are warlike brutes that ate ponies every chance they could get. He always hated those accusations of his kind, and was all the more happy when his friend Dragon Lord Amber defied those stereotypes. However, this was the first time that Spike was grateful for a pony, having no knowledge of dragons and their mystical fire as the ashes of the latter slowly began to travel out an open window. Afghanistan, stand by, stand by, breach! The charges went off on the dusty and sandy door, as well as a window on the left of the room, blowing up the door clean off of its frame and blasting the window to pieces. The dust and smoke settled almost immediately as gunfire erupted from inside of the structure. Bullets riddled the ground in between the two soldiers as they both prepped a flashbang grenade to unleash inside. A couple of seconds later, the device wore in and a deafening crack and a burst of light shot through the room. Go! The voice calm of the woman spoke to the man as the two operators fired into the room. Their HK-416 rifles lasers each finding their targets suppressed. Shots rang out in quick succession. As one by one, four bodies dropped to the ground, the clattering of their weapons were heard as their targets perished from their assault. Clear! Clear! The operators hopped along inside less unwillingly as they had thoroughly scouted out the thought to be secure compound with many drones and assistance from a UAV or an unmanned aerial vehicle beforehand. advancing. They pushed deeper into the structure, heading down the only corridor of the building. Their lasers followed each inch of the wall ahead, ready to spring onto another enemy that dared show their face to them. Sure enough, footsteps were heard, coming from a doorway to their left, giving away an enemy attempting to interrupt them. One shot from the male operator in the white mask. The other man had peered out into the hallway, with found a new coat of red plastered onto it and on their walls. Coming deeper and deeper into the structure, the light suddenly turned off. Perhaps the enemies cut the power generator to make an escape or blind the attackers. But the only escape in this structure was the corridor to the front door, as they had previously jammed all other exits shut before invading. Activate IRNV. On it! The darkness gave way to green and orange and restoring vision to the soldiers as they pressed on to the end of the hallway. Before them was a double door hiding whatever was inside. Whoever it was, they had to be ready. Then the male operator took a small mini drone from his pack and wheeled it through the doors. They barely made a sound as they parted ways for a brief second to allow the drone to enter. The infrared night vision became clear on the drone as the operator looked around for his potential targets. Sure enough, he found plenty. 4 contacts, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, same number left and right, handguns, and 1 rifle in the back. No IEDs detected, no tripwires found. Mark them. Tapping on the touchscreen of the drone's control, 4 red dots visible on their goggles were shown through the walls, each marking where the enemy was hiding. They marked their feet so aiming up would allow their bullets to find head or center mass. Putting the device away and getting his rifle ready, the 2 shot out the glass windows on the tops of the door and hurled in another set of flashbangs. Once again, gunfire whittled the metal door as the rifle bullets created bulges on the other side. Other rounds went through the windows and found themselves splattering against the walls behind them. Then the gunfire stopped and a click was heard on the other side, following a deafening and blast of disorienting light and sound emanated from the room. Breach and clear! Kicking down the doors the operators took 2 on their respective sides, filling each of their enemies with 2 shots to the chest cavity. In almost less than a second, 4 men wearing apparel more suited to a laboratory environment were laying on the ground, pools of blood expanding beneath them. Their masks hid whatever expression they had before their deaths. Clear! Clear! At the point, the female activated her encrypted communications link. This is Valkyrie to Rainbow. Building is secure. The woman spoke through her communications device. Valkyrie, this is Thatcher. Acknowledged. What's the situation over there? The British accent filled the earpiece. 8 white masks dead. Ford looked like a scientist of some sort. "We're restoring power now," Valkyrie responded. "Got it, yeah, Blackbeard?" "Almost," the other operator grunted as he pulled the switch down to reactivate the generator. Getting the lights back on. "Attaboy." One by one the lights flickered on. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary besides the weapons laying around all over the place. L-85 rifles lined up against the walls, as well as various pistols and packaged grenades. However, one thing clearly outshone the rest. In the back of the room was a gigantic circular device that held a sort of arc over it. If any sort of science fiction geek were with them, he'd obviously associate it with something they find in that show, Stargate or something like that. "Thatcher, we found another weapon cache, but there's something else here as well. Something big, and I have no idea what it is." Valkyrie spoke back. "Come again? Does it look like a warhead or anything along those regards?" "Definitely not. We're going to snap some pictures around here and secure the stash." "Are any other military units inbound?" "Negative. As far as the world is concerned, this building and what is inside doesn't exist." "Roger. Roger that. Stay on the channel. New intel might be coming back." The operators immediately got to work taking pictures of the weapons stashed in the buildings, but most notably of the large machine in the back of the room that was hooked up to a huge load of cables. "Jesus, what is this thing?" Blackbeard snapped another picture. "My guess is as good as yours. Nice shooting, by the way." "Same to you. Hey, do you see that?" Blackbeard pointed to a small panel on the machine. Apparently it was imprinted with some sort of text. "Is that?" "That's Russian text." "What the hell could this be? Russian? No way, they could be giving them this sort of technology after the White Mask bombed two Catholic cathedrals. Maybe they stole the tech. These bastards can practically get away with anything." Valkyrie spoke as she snapped another image. "Whatever it is, we've secured it. Now, wait, what's that noise?" It was a phone ringing, and if there was a phone ringing out of nowhere when none of your guys brought a phone, every single person involved in the armed forces knew what was going to happen next. "IED! Move!" The two rushed out of the room and through the hallway. A massive explosion was heard behind them, rocking them violently and throwing sparks from the lab. Smoke quickly billowed up as the two exited the building. More and more explosions went off inside. Looking back at the building as they were a good distance away, electricity and energy suddenly arced from the building, and with a blinding flash, the two operators were on their backs in the sand, their ears ringing now, clearing their vision to witness the crater that stood before them. "What the fuck?" Blackbeard breathed heavily as he got himself up. "You okay?" Valkyrie asked, earning a nod from Blackbeard. "Jesus Christ, this is some messed up shit." Alrighty, so that was Flames of the Rainbow. If you like the video, leave a like, comment, and if you haven't done it yet, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.